Hi there, this is Jeanette, your Director of Automation Training, and welcome to this training video for the Weekly Tips campaign. Today we'll be going over end-user training for the Cybersecurity Weekly Tips campaign. I'll be showing you the widget that we have for this campaign. We'll also walk through how to add an individual contact to the campaign, as well as a group of contacts. There will be a couple of options there to add a group, so stay tuned for that. And then we'll also, as always, walk through the update form for this campaign so you know how to manage this campaign moving forward. So along with this training, you will find that we have an end user training guide. So I will be walking through this document so you can walk through that with me step by step. You'll see that we've got some screenshots and arrows and just check boxes here to keep you on track throughout the training. So let's go ahead and start by looking at the widget. We have a very simple widget for this campaign. We have two stats. The first stat will be the total number of contacts who are active in this campaign. And then you will also see a second stat, which is a milestone that will record the number of contacts who have requested the free report while in this campaign. So your free report might vary. It might be the what you should pay for IT support free report. It could be your top 10 hackers report. So it just depends on how your campaign has been configured. But this stat will show you a total number who have requested that report while being in this campaign. So let's go ahead and talk about how to add an individual contact to the campaign. You might do this after meeting someone at an event or as you're running a test. It's a very simple way to add an individual to the campaign. So what we'll do is go ahead and search for the contact record. You would add them in by clicking this plus sign if they're not already in Infusionsoft. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my test record. And to add an individual to the campaign, we're going to use the update form for this campaign. In order to do that, we'll click on the internal forms icon, and then we'll click on the drop down here for internal forms. And I'm going to search for my weekly tips update form. So it will say Cybersecurity Weekly Tips. We'll click on that and then click the green fill out form button. It's very simple to start an individual in the campaign. Go ahead and just click this start button. I'm going to check that box and click save. Now I'm going to do a refresh here, and then I'm going to come over here to the campaigns activity icon. And if you're testing the campaign, I'd like for you to go ahead and look at this. This is just a place that you can look and see that the contact has been added correctly. And please note with the Cybersecurity Weekly Tips campaign that the tip will be delivered on the day that the person is opted in. So as you add in this contact, if it is on a Wednesday, every Wednesday, this person will receive your weekly tip. So I can look here under, again, this campaign activity icon and take a look at the active sequences. So this is what I'm looking for. I want to see that I'm currently active in my Cybersecurity Weekly Tips campaign. I'm in that initial opted in, that I get the welcome email and the first series of emails for first series of tips, which are tips 1 through 11. So I can see that I'm in the correct sequence, and I'm going to scroll down now and I'm going to look at the upcoming campaign items. I'm going to pass through all of those tags, and what I want to see is that this welcome email is going to be sent out in a few minutes, and then I can see all of the other tips lined up each week for that first group of 11 emails. So just a way to verify that this contact has been added correctly to the campaign. Now let's talk about adding a group of contacts to the campaign. So in the end user training guide, I'm going to be looking here. There are a couple of options. So I'm going to look at page 5. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back here just a little bit, actually looking at page 4. So option 1 would just be to add contacts to the campaign. If you know these contacts, they are your current customers, maybe they're just a warm list, your farm list, or your unconverted leads, you can go ahead and just add them to the campaign. And we're going to do that by applying the start tag. After you add them to the campaign, they will get a welcome email that tells them about the tips, explain as you set up the campaign. Hopefully you've had a chance to review that email. And you also know that throughout the emails there's an additional link if they just want to opt out and to no longer receive your weekly tips instead of unsubscribing completely. So for your customers, your farm list, and your unconverted leads, we'll go ahead and add them to the campaign. Again, they want to be somebody that knows you, that you know, that you do have permission to email. So what we're going to do is search for those contacts. We're going to apply the start tag. So while I'm in the document, I'm going to copy this bolded part of the tag name. I don't need to copy system here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my search. So I'll come over here, go to CRM contacts, and I'll go to the General tab. So I can search for my customers, and I'm also going to hold down my Command key and choose my farm list and my unconverted leads. So you can select all 3, or if you just wanted to do one group at a time, and go ahead and click on search. You'll be able to select all, and you can look through that list and decide if there's someone you don't want to add to this campaign at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can find a good test record, a couple of test records. We'll pick Mickey Mouse here. And then I'm going to go to Actions, Apply/Remove Tag. Now I'm going to go ahead and select the tag. So on my Mac, I'm going to hold down Command F, and you'll see I've got this little finder. I'm going to search, just going to paste in the name of that tag, and take a look at it. If you've been through my trainings before, I always repeat that I'm looking for 4 things for this start tag. I always really slow down whenever I'm adding a group of contacts to the campaign to make sure I'm picking the right tag. I'm always looking for 4 things. Number 1, is it a system category? The second thing, I always double check the campaign name, so that looks good. And then I look for the word button and the word start. So I've got the correct tag here. It's been selected. I'm going to click on Save. I can see it now listed here under Actions. I have one more step. I'm going to click Process Action. And now all of the contacts I had selected are going to be dropped into the Weekly Tips campaign. After about 5 minutes, they'll receive that confirmation email. And then after 1 week, they'll get tip number 1. And then after the following week, tip number 2, and so on. The second option, if we go back to the end user training guide to add people to the campaign, would be contacts that you're not as familiar with, maybe don't know you as well. We don't want to just add them to this campaign because we don't have permission to email them, and we don't want to be just sending them too many emails that they haven't requested. So what we recommend in this case is to send them an email inviting them to opt in. So I'm going to walk you through the steps for doing this. So as we send an email broadcast, we always start by doing our search. So I will go to CRM contacts, and this time on the General tab, I'm looking for my prospects. And then I'll go ahead and click Search. And again, you would select all, or you can go through your list and just select the contacts that you wish to add to the campaign. I'm just going to look for a test record at this point. So I'm just going to select a couple tests. You would select, again, all of them on your list or just any that you want to send this email broadcast to. And then we'll go to Actions and Send a Broadcast. This is how we open up that email builder. So you'll click on the Get Started, the blue Get Started button. And we actually have an email that's already been added to your Infusionsoft account. It's located under the My Templates tab. So I'm going to click here, and you're searching for the email called Cybersecurity Weekly Tips Email Broadcast Template. You'll hover over the email and then click Use Template. Now, again, we always start when we're doing an email broadcast. We want to start at the very top of the email and work our way down to the bottom. So I'm going to click here on Details to open up some more information. First, I want to select who this email is coming from. You can, by default, it's set as the contact's owner. You may want to go ahead and select a specific user in your Infusionsoft account, or if the email does not exist here, you can choose the other option as well. So I'm going to go ahead and have this come from me and click Save. I'm going to double check here my recipients. Now on my list, I had just checked a couple of boxes, so things are looking good here. It's always good to verify that that the number looks correct. And then we've got our subject line. I'm going to go ahead down to the bottom of the email now. In this email, you're going to see a couple of places where we have the URL to your Cybersecurity Weekly Tips landing page. So we want to actually create hyperlinks. So we've just put in a little placeholder copy here for you. You'll want to get the URL to your specific landing page. And then we want to create that hyperlink. So on our blue toolbar, we'll click this link. And I'll just keep this here listed as URL and paste in the URL of my landing page again and click Insert Link. Okay, now I see that that hyperlink has been created. So I've also added in here just a call to action for people to sign up for the weekly tips. So I'll want to go ahead and create that hyperlink here as well. That way, when they get the email broadcast, it's just one email going out to them, and they can click on the link and opt in if they would like to receive your tips. Down at the bottom of the email, they can also share this link to your landing page with any of their employees or colleagues or friends and family as well. Okay, and then you'll want to also make sure that your email signature matches who it's coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my user signature so it's matching. And then I'm ready to go ahead and send myself a test. I want to make sure I test this email. I want to click in that email when it gets to my inbox, make sure the link to the landing page is working. And then you can go ahead and review and send. And the best option here is to schedule it for later, even if it's 15 minutes from now. As you know, if you select Send Now, that email is going out right now. There's no way to stop it, roll back that email broadcast and make any changes. So we always select as best practices to schedule it for later. You could just do 15 minutes from now or tomorrow morning, whatever time you want to get that email out. Finally, you'll just click on Schedule, and that will get that email scheduled to be sent. Let's move on now to our update form for this campaign. So you'll see on page 7, it's a very short form, probably one of our shortest forms for any of our campaigns. We have 3 selections. In the user guide, you'll see that we have detailed exactly what happens when you make any of those selections. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my test contact record again so we can review those options. So I'm going to click here on the internal forms icon. And again, take a look for that weekly tips update form. At the beginning of the training, we talked about using this start the campaign option. When making this selection, it will start the contact in the campaign. After just 5 minutes, they will receive the confirmation email, a welcome email letting them know what to expect and about the weekly tips. And then the other emails will be sent, the tips will be sent every week moving forward. If you happen to be talking to this contact and they would like to request the free report that you're offering, so within this campaign, not every email, but maybe every other email or every couple of emails, we do have a call to action for them to click and request your free report. If by any chance you need to manually indicate that the report was requested, you can do that here. This will start them in the free report campaign that you have connected to your weekly tips campaign. Again, it might be your top 10 hackers free report, or it might be your what you should pay for IT services report. So this will actually just start them in that campaign so that they can receive that report. This option will not stop the weekly tips campaign. The weekly tips campaign will continue to run. The third option is just to stop the campaign. If you would like to remove this contact from receiving weekly tips, you can mark the selection and the campaign will stop. Again, very important to note, only mark one checkbox at a time, one checkbox per form submission. So that concludes our end user training for the weekly tips campaign. If you have any questions, you need any help along the way, remember our help desk is eager to help. You can email us at infusionsoft@technologymarketingtoolkit, and we're happy to give you a hand.